What's going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're going to be talking about some advanced tips on when to know when you're going to keep gear to make the whole process a lot better. Now, if you're looking for more beginner tips, I do have videos on that. After you farm the dungeon, how to sort out which pieces to keep, which pieces to sell. I have a pretty in-depth video. It's literally 10 minutes and you'll remember it forever. Maybe you have to watch it 1 or 2 times if you do forget down the line, but trust me, based on the feedback people have given me, 10 minutes of your time watching that video, if you don't have a good understanding on which gear you should keep or sell, definitely give that a check out. Now, today we're going to be talking about some advanced tips. Once you've already picked out the gear you're going to keep, you've determined it's good for your account, this is how you can know how good it is while you're rolling it up. So the first thing I do want to talk about are the max stats you can roll, and this is something that I didn't know for a long time. I was always guessing, I would forget it constantly, so I'm going to go ahead, put this chart up here. You can take a screenshot, put it in any private Discord, save it anywhere on your computer so you always have it handy. So we're going to go over the substats first here, and let's start off with speed. The minimum roll for speed is 4 on a 5-star piece, it's 5 maximum on a 5-star piece, it's 5 minimum on a 6-star piece, and it's 6 maximum on a 6-star piece. Next thing we're going to talk about are percentages. This is HP percent, attack percent, defense percent. It's 4 minimum roll on a 5-star piece, 6 maximum on that 5-star piece. For a 6-star piece of gear, it's 5 minimum and 7 maximum there. For accuracy resistance, we have 8 and 11 for the min-max of 5-star. We have 9 and 12 for the min-max of 6-star gear. For flat attack and flat defense, 12 and 23 for the min-max of 5-star gear, and 15 and 30 for the min-max of 6-star gear. Finally, we have flat HP at 135 and 450 for the min-max of 5-star gear, and 200 and 565 for the min-max of 6-star gear. You could be looking at the flat stats, attack, defense, and HP, and ask yourself, why is this relevant? Well, these stats are actually best in slot for a lot of pieces, including crit damage neck pieces. If you have a crit damage neck piece and your main attacker is HP, defense, or attack based, those flat stats become best in slot. And as you can see, if you have a 6-star piece, the max roll, multiply that by 5 times total, which is the equivalent of a quad roll, and you get some massive bonuses to the stats you do have. So now some of you might be thinking, Murder, how is this relevant to me at all when I'm looking at gear? Why would this matter? And the big thing is, it comes down to people who are keeping too much 5-star gear over 6-star gear because they're unsure of the rolls and the quality of the rolls. So what I want to do is break down 2 very simple and very quick equations for you. First, starting off with a 6-star piece of gear and a 5-star piece of gear, both with the maximum speed rolls. If you get a triple roll with the 6-star piece of gear, you have a 24 total speed roll. If you get a quad roll on a 5-star piece of gear, you have 25 speed total. So you have 1 extra speed for that very, very small chance of a quad roll. However, it's still not going to be better than the 6-star. Why is that? Because they introduce glyphs to the game. This is a key thing to remember, especially when spending your silver. I've said it 1,000 times in multiple videos of mine, silver is so hard to come by. It's one of the systems in this game that needs the most work, hands down, because there's just not enough ways to get silver for a game and system where everything in this game does in fact cost silver. So that's the first example there, and why it's really important to not spend too much rolling up 5-star gear if you already have this 6-star gear available to you and you're farming it consistently, or you already have triple rolls and you're not even realizing it when you're going for quad rolls on a 5-star piece of gear. The next point is going to be percentage based gear, meaning HP percent, attack percent, or defense percent. So we're going to start off with a 5-star and a 6-star piece of gear. Once again, starting off with the 6-star piece of gear, let's say we have a triple roll that's going to be 28% of any of the base stat you just rolled. If you get a quad roll on a 5-star piece of gear, that is 30%. Once again, you have to remember 6-star glyphs are a thing in this game, so you really have to evaluate closely how much the benefit is going to be if you do plan on rolling up 5-star gear. Now, I know I only mentioned HP percent, attack percent, and defense, but crit rate, crit damage does also apply to the any percent part of that, and for some reason it just slipped my mind at the time there. So now that I gave you the breakdown, I kind of want to show you what this is like in practice here. So for me, these are the pieces that I recently kept from Fire Night and from a few other activities, including Platinum Reset. Let's take this piece of gear for an example. So what I would do is, this is something that's kind of built into my head to always say out loud when I'm rolling this. People have noticed this on my stream and they said, Murder, what are you talking about? I like to do this just to give myself a gauge of how good these pieces are, because I do know my account very well. I know the gear on it very well. I know exactly what I need, what I don't need, so I want to know the number. This is a really cool system for you guys to pick up, but I would probably recommend writing it down, or if you're a fast enough learner, you can definitely say it out loud. So what I would do is I would say 1 and 2, 3 total. So this is 3 points shy of a perfect piece. HP percent could be 7%, crit damage could be 7% as well, making it 3 points total. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this to +4, and then from there I'm going to see what the next level. So now that this is +4, I'm going to see what the next level of loss from a perfect piece is going to be. So we have the original 1% from crit damage, we still have 2% from HP, that's 3. Now we only have 1 more percent from crit rate, so we got a really good roll here. It wasn't perfect, it was 6%, so overall this is still a really good piece, especially because I know on this weapon I want to focus on the top 3 stats here. So what we would do now is we would roll this to 8 and then eventually 12, and we could keep going along the lines. Now you might be thinking this is a really good piece no matter what. However, if I got very low rolls, let's say a 5% on HP, a 5% on crit damage, then I'd have to start seriously considering if this piece is continued and worth it to keep rolling up. So exactly that happened. I didn't get a 5%, but I got a 6% on HP percent. So we were on 4% to start off here. Before we went into this last roll, now we went all the way up to 7. So from -4 to -7 overall. So the quality of this piece is already lowered significantly from that one roll there. So this is the concept I'm trying to show off to you guys so you can use this down the line. And like I said, maybe showing a legendary piece wasn't the best example of this. A rare piece probably would have been better, so you can slowly calculate things up as substats are revealed so you can know if the piece is in fact worth to keep rolling. So for me right now, I'm going to hold off on this piece. I'm not sure how worth it this is going to be, because like I said, this is a very 50-50 piece. It started off really good in the base. The first roll we got was really good on top of that, and the second roll kind of killed all of the momentum. So I would need 2 very high rolls from 12 and 16 to salvage this piece. However, like I said, before I do that, I would want to look at all of my swift parry weapons to see if it's even worth the silver. Because despite having over 1 billion silver, you always want to save your resources and maximize it to the best of your ability here. The next example I want to show is this frenzy weapon here. Now frenzy is a set that I have been collecting. I've wanted to use more and more, whether it's in champion showcases or not. So now we have an interesting situation where we have attack percent, HP percent, and crit damage all on the maximum roll of 7. So this is a net 0 across the board, despite having that level 16 currently unshown. Now this is the main thing to consider with this item. This item is going to either go onto an attack-based champion or an HP-based champion, and that's going to be determined by the first roll in either of the substats here. Unless it rolls all into crit damage, that's when you have to make your final decision. So rolling gear should in theory be some very simple thing, but it's actually a bit more complex if you really want to min-max how efficient you are. So as we can see here, this is still a pitch perfect piece of gear. It's 0 across the board with still 1 stat not shown here, but we're not missing any percent overall. So now we would take this to 8 and see what happens here. If it rolls HP percent, once again we're put into the same predicament as before, where it becomes a 50-50 piece. Okay, so the next roll here, now we're only -1. So no matter what happens next, this is going to be a brilliant piece. Now we're at the point where this attack-based champion that's going to get this piece either gains crit damage, more base attack, or some survivability. Now this is the key thing here, survivability. Prior to this roll, we were not considering HP percent as a survivability stat, we were considering it a full damage stat. So just because this piece is so good, let's go ahead and roll it to 12 and see what the outcome is. Alright guys, so this piece unfortunately took a slight turn for the worst here. I rolled the lowest possible roll here, 2 crit damage, because as we just went over, 5 is the lowest roll, and we did in fact roll a 5, 7 plus 5 is 12, so now instead of -1, we are at -3. Nothing crazy, but still noticeable and something we do have to consider here. But overall, this is going to be the determining factor. As soon as we hit +8, we knew this piece was good to go, and I could continue rolling it all the way up. Why this is important is because you need to know by at most +8 on a piece of gear if you're going to keep it. If not, you're wasting way too much silver. Now this is already past the point of you farmed the gear, you sold everything you didn't need, and you kept everything you needed. This is the point where of the pieces you do need, what you're going to keep while you're rolling it. That's the main point there. I see so many people with 1,000,000 silver, 500,000 silver, completely starved on their account, but they have tons of pieces in their inventory at +12, +13, +14 that they were trying to level up, but they're terrible pieces overall because they're not respecting the maximum rolls they could have got. And yes, you can say they're doing the best with what they have. However, when someone has 700 pieces, 600 pieces in their inventory with 300 or 400 of them rolled up to 12, they're not maximizing their potential. They have tons of options, and they're really limiting themselves on their income when they could be focusing on 100 of those pieces that are really good instead of spreading it out to 400 that aren't that good, and they were just unaware of the process that I'm showing you here today. So with that being said, once you get good enough, you can pretty much scan through all of your gear, look at the stats you want to aim for, and see, based on all the stats you have, what pieces you're going to choose to roll and what pieces you're going to choose not to roll. As you can see on most of these pieces, I do have middle to high tier rolls on everything, or they're uniquely targeted gear that I did want and I did keep for a certain reason to try and roll them. I would probably, like these boots for example, I would probably roll these for 4. If it didn't roll attack percent, instantly sell them. Because while this isn't a piece that's going to make it on any of my main teams, Faction Wars is a thing. If you've ever seen me stream, I stream Faction Wars with champions missing 4 pieces of gear, some champions wearing no gear, trying to do stage 21. I can clear some stage 21 Faction War dungeons with champions not wearing gear. However, it's inconsistent and I would want it to be as fast as possible. I hate borrowing gear from other champions, so I do keep some pieces like this that would be considered pretty bad normally, just for that purpose. Alright guys, so that counting method is something that's gotten me through the game for probably 1.5 to a year out of my total playtime, and without even exaggerating, it's really changed the way I looked at gear. It saved me tons and tons of silver. I'm not saying you're going to get to over 1 billion silver like I am. That comes with spending money on energy, farming all the time, but you will save a massive amount of silver if you use this method. I promise you, it's worked for me. It's worked for so many other people who have watched me do it live on stream when they're curious enough to ask about it. So I wanted to make this video, since I did just make the video on which gear sets you should keep based on the progression you're at. I think both of these mesh really well and have great synergy with that ultimate selling guide I did release quite a few months ago. Between all 3 of these videos, you should be set when farming gear, no questions asked, and your account should be popping from here on out. Alright guys, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next video, and I will see you all in the next upload.